Hey guys, it's Irene's Braids, and I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into this video. So here's my setup of all of my utensils slash products slash hair that I'll be using for this tutorial. We'll be doing some large knotless braids, and I will be adding in some curly ends. This hair that I purchased, I got this off of Etsy. I did buy approximately 3 bundles, but I bought it for a different style. However, my daughter kept asking me for curls, so I used some of my hair for her tutorial today. So I won't be adding, too many curls because I don't want it to look too grown. But I will be giving her just a little flavor. All right, you guys, so I will be using Shiny Jam to part out my parts. As you see here, I'm using my IRENE'S Braids Precision Party Comb to clean up those areas. And I am going to go ahead and start shaping out my parts. So for the back row, I'm only going to do about 3 sections here, or 3 braids. So when I part out my sections, I will make it only 3 in the back. And also, I will be making sure that I try to keep the parts as clean as possible, so that way, the braids can look good. Because with these type of braids, because they're so much larger, you want to make sure your parting is on point. So that way the braids can look nice and sleek. So what I did here is I parted her real hair into 3 sections, and I used my index and thumb finger to grab along a piece of extensions braiding hair. We use expressions. So if you're looking for the braiding hair, this was expressions. And this is color 2 that we're using. Now for the expressions braided hair, you guys, because I am a hair braider and this is what I do professionally, I just grabbed a few bundles from out the back and just threw them on my table. But if I had to guess how many bundles I use, I believe I only use 2 to 3 bundles. So with that being said, if you were to buy the packaging, probably buy 2 packs of expressions braiding hair, because they usually come 3 bundles in a pack. So that's what I would do. So as you see here, I split her hair up into 3 sections. I'm going to use my index and thumb finger to push through her hair, grab the expressions braiding hair, and I'm going to braid it through. And when I braid it through, I'm going to braid it through until it's secure, and then I will add in another piece of braiding hair so that way the braid can thicken up. And I will continue to do this until I feel as though I have enough braiding hair within the braid size that I am achieving today. So you guys can fill this in as much as you like. I try to fill it in until I feel like it's consistent enough to the braid size that I'm looking for. Okay, now as I'm braiding, I will make sure that I try to roll and tuck her natural hair away, so that way I don't have to really worry about seeing too much of her natural hair within the braid. So yes, you guys, we are here on a Sunday at the salon. I'm doing my kids' hair. So this is a family day slash hair day today at the hair salon. So as you guys will see in the background, you'll see my husband walking, our son walking, so don't pay attention too much to the background because this is a family day. All right, you guys. So on my hand here, I have a little bit of the Even pomade gel on my hand. It just makes it a little bit more easier for me to do this tutorial for you guys versus trying to jump around from table to the camera. It was just too much. So as I showed you in the last clip, how I fed in the hair, I'm going to continue to keep doing that. Mind you, I only have 2 rows so far that I have completed. My first row, I only had 3 braids at the bottom. And then for my second row, I should have approximately 5 braids on my second row. Okay. And then I will continue to keep parting out my rows and adding in my braids. And then I will be back to explain from there. All right. Let's continue watching. All right, you guys, so here we are. I'm going to show you guys how the parting should line. And when you're lining up your parting, you want to make sure that the line that you are creating, does not match up with the line below it. And the reason being is because your braids should fall individually and they should lay nicely in between one another. And how you do that is by creating more so of a brick layered pattern. And you want to make sure that you pay attention to how your row underneath looks and then go back up to how the top looks. And then when you part out that line, make sure your line is far away from the line below it. So that way, you know, those sections can fall nicely. So as you see, when I'm done adding in this braid here, this braid will fall over the line below it nicely, but it will not equally match up with it. And that was the goal here. Okay, because another thing too, it will create more of a fullness, and because the braids will lay nicely and it'll make it all fall in line how it should. So that's just something to think about when you're parting. Okay, braiding is pretty simple. Braiding is pretty easy. There's not too much thought in it. You just have to keep practicing. You know, sometimes people get frustrated because they're not able to pick it up right away. But as long as you keep practicing, you will do great. And always remember, with every grade, that grade was once a beginner. So no one wakes up and just got it right away. Like, it takes practice. It takes time. Okay. Now, when I'm braiding her hair, I have to make sure that I'm using a little bit of force, only because, you know, her hair is a little thick, and I find myself having to make sure I'm gripping nicely to make sure that I'm perfecting those braids. Because if I don't do it like that, it will literally be a mess. I'm telling you. Her hair has been this way since she was a baby, and I always struggle with her hair. But I always tell my students when they come in for their one-on-one classes that if you could perfect someone's hair who has more hair, if the hair is really, really thick, then you're going to be the best braider ever. Because the hardest thing to do is to braid someone who has full and thick hair, or someone who has a lot of hair. If you can master that, then you're going to be the best braider ever, I swear. Because it's so hard to create those parts. It's so hard to keep the hair together. It's so hard to position your hands. Like, it's just hard when someone has a lot of hair and the hair is really, really thick. All right, you guys. So I didn't get a chance to show you how I added in the human hair. So what I do is I leave a little bit of braiding, the braids loosened. I don't braid it to the end. And then I take the human hair, I add a little product to it so that way I can help my fingers grip it. And so I use a little bit of Shining Jam for it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to feed it in and braid it in so that way it can, you know, fall in nicely. And what I did here is I braided it in until I can no longer see the braiding hair. Now, sometimes your braiding hair can override the curl. So what you're going to do is you're going to go take your scissors and you're going to just razor off some of that expressions braiding hair. And when you razor it in a downward position. That way it can be more of a V shape. And then when you're done braiding it all in, it can fall in nicely. And so I dipped all her braids in hot water. Well, not necessarily hot water, but more so a lukewarm water, so that way the braids can relax. The curls are so pretty. I like how the curls have, you know, how the curls came out. I didn't want a lot of curls in my daughter's hair, but you can do what you want when it comes to your client or your child. For me, I chose to do lighter curls, but you can add more curls, and I think it'll be okay. So I will be leaving a link in the description box if you would like to book a class or if you would like to book an appointment. And if you would like to follow me on social media on all platforms, it is IRENE'S Braids. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.